this is Tracy from Cheeky Journals. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play around with Jane's Inkredible inks. I managed to pick up 4 colors, and I also got some of the accessories that you get with the inks. So I actually got this idea, of course, from Jane's lovely book, where she has put the ink in different ways and forms. So I got 4 dabber bottles, spray bottles, the fine line bottles, the ink brushes. This dropper actually comes with the ink, and then you can also transfer the ink into a pen. You can use your paintbrush to apply it, so you will just use your ink, put it a little bit in a palette, and then start applying it with a paintbrush. And you can also stamp with it. So I love that it's so versatile and that you can get different effects from it, and that's why I've decided to extend my ink range and get a little bit more. I currently only own 5 inks from Daleroni and Schminker, and I have played around with it a little bit, not as much as I would like, and I've enjoyed it. So I was very keen to try out these colors with these tools. So we will be transferring this into these bottles. And I didn't get 4 pens, I only got 1 pen because I thought that's just a bit too excessive, and you're using the converter that you get with the pen to suck up the ink. So I thought I'll just use a color, and then when it's finished I'll try out a different color. So what I did is I went onto Jane Davenport's website, and I've printed out some of the labels that you can put onto the bottles so that you know what color ink is in it. And I just got some adhesive sticker paper. It's for inkjet printers. I got it at my local stationery shop. If you can't find anything like this, you can also just print it out on normal copy paper, and then either use contact or packaging tape, and you can just stick that over the bottle. You know what I mean. In any case, so I've printed out the labels and I've played around with it with the sizing. So some of it is not completely the size that Jane intended it for, but I thought that was just going to work for me. So you can definitely play around with the sizes. Let's get to it and let's start transferring the ink to all these lovely goodies. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to print out the labels for the Inkredible inks. I will put this link down below in the description box, so you basically just carry on going down, and there you will see that's the dabber labels, the mister, this is the fine line, and then right at the end you'll get the ink brush. So I will do the fine line one for you. Just press on it and it will open up into this section. All you do is, I just use this plus sign to enlarge it a little bit. Otherwise I find that it prints much smaller, and then I just say print. And it will open up to this page. I'm using an Epson printer. This might be different for you. And I will just go to more settings and make sure I'm printing on A4 sticker paper. So I'm just making sure that my paper size is A4. And I have scaled it here. If you take it up, when you open it up, it might be to 100. And as you can see, it will now print on 2 pages, but I don't want it printing on 2 pages because I'll be wasting that paper. So I'll just scale it down to 92, and then everything fits onto 1 page. And now it says only 1 sheet of paper will be used to print this, and you just basically press print. If you are going to print on sticker paper, I would say first play around on normal copy paper. Since you can play around with the sizing and you might not be sure of how it's going to end up, play around with it till you get to the setting that you would like it on, and then print on sticker paper. I completely made this mistake. I did not test it out. I just started printing on sticker paper and I wasted about 3 sheets, which is pretty sad. I thought of starting off with the dauber bottles, and something that I started off but I didn't do with all of them was to first test the ink as it is, because that will just give you an indication of how light you would like it to become when you start adding your water and how much water you can be adding. So I'm just using normal water. You can, of course, use some bottled water, especially if you have a borehole, since I know that it can have a bit of a smell afterwards. Luckily, in the area where I'm living, that is not a problem. So the colors that I have bought is blueberry, and it's a very beautiful muted blue. The purple is violet syrup, and I think that's my favorite one. Then I've got a flesh tone which is called tinsel, and I can't wait to play around with that, especially since I've been trying to sketch out more faces and people. And then the green is called mermaid tail, which is another one of my favorites. So there's really no recipe to this. You just have to play around and have fun with it. Do take enough time out of your day to do this. It's very much trial and error. It's not something that you can rush through. I'm sure you can be precise about it and say how many drops of ink you've added and how many milliliters of water, but to me that is just too structured, and I just want to have fun, play around with it, and just follow my gut feeling on what color I want. I started off with adding the ink to the bottle and then adding a little bit of water, testing it out, and then according to what it looks like on the page, I've decided if I wanted to go a little bit darker or lighter. And then if you would like it to be lighter, the color, then I would just add more water, and obviously test after each time you've added either water or ink. Just test it out, and if it is too dark I would add water, and if it was too light for me I would just add more ink to get it to be darker. The colors are also, the inks are scented. It's got a beautiful smell to it and it's not overpowering. I completely felt like a scientist doing this, and all I needed was the white coat and I'll be as good as gold. You can of course also mix your own colors if that is something that you're after. I would say start off then with your 3 basic colors, which will be a yellow, like a magenta, a red, or something like that, and then a blue. And with those colors you can mix your secondary colors. This is also not set in stone. If you would like to change the color afterwards or make it darker or lighter, you can always do it. So don't think that this is it. You will see there with the dauber bottles that the part that goes at the top, the sticker, it prints out on a square, and I've just used my corner rounder to round each corner, and then I ended up with a circle. So we're going on to the fine tip ink bottles, and with this set that I've done, I think I was a little bit more experienced and I know what I was doing, so it went a little bit faster, and instead of first finishing one color, I started off with all 4 colors at once. I would first add in the ink in each bottle, and then I would go in with the water, and I'm just using a pipette for this since the fine tip bottles have a very small hole at the top and I didn't want to mess. The water does come, or the ink does come out pretty quickly out of these fine tip bottles, and I found every time I went in at first it will make a little bit of a dot because so much ink's running through, and only then I will get a fine line. Or maybe I'm just using it wrong and there's a different way of using it, so I will be playing around with it to see how I can solve that problem. But it's also a nice effect to have because after it dried it made such a beautiful pattern. It was really comfortable printing it on sticker paper, I have to say, and not playing around with packing tape or contact. However, that will work just as well. It's just going to take you a little bit longer to do it. So we're going off to the ink brushes now. This also went pretty quickly, adding the ink and the water. Now you do end up using a lot of ink with this process, especially if you buy all the accessories that Jane is stocking. I would say after filling all the various accessories, I've got just over 1/4 of ink left in each bottle, which is not too bad. I didn't fill up all of them right to the top. With the ink brush, I only filled it, I left a bit of space right at the top, and then with the dauber bottles I went up to about 3/4, and then with the spray bottles and the fine tip bottles I did not put in so much. I only went halfway with the fine tip and the spray bottles only 1/4. I still wanted some of the pure color left instead of diluting all of it. And now we're going off to the spray bottles. I have to say the spray bottles I had the most trouble with. However, After fixing the problem, let me say that, it was actually one of my favorite effects that you got, which was quite a surprise for me, because using spray bottles can be a bit of a mess. I always find when I'm using a spray bottle, it's all over my table and everything's covered in spray, but I really like the effect of it. The problem that I had though was with two of them, I struggled to get it to work, and I had to pump it quite a few times and open it up and try and get it just to spray. I think it was with tinsel and the blue one, blueberry. I really had difficulty getting it to spray. However, the purple and the green worked so nice, and it's definitely not the ink, it's just the spray bottle. So now we're going over to the Inkredible pen, and I'm going to be taking tinsel and sucking up some ink from it. So you will see there is a lever by the converter. So just drop your pen into the ink and then just start pulling the lever up. So I thought, now that I have filled all the bottles and the accessories, I would just do a quick swatch. The first swatch is just how the ink performs by itself without being diluted, and I'm just applying it with a paintbrush. And then I'm going to be doing the mermaid markers. This is very interesting to see how the colors are different and the different effects that you get from each medium. And then we're doing the dauber bottles. This will work lovely, the dauber bottle, if you've got a large area that you want to cover in color. This will be an easy way of doing it. As will the paintbrush. And I would say the ink brush is more for fine work, and definitely also the fine tip bottles that we're using now. That is a very fine line that you're getting. If you want more detail, this is definitely the tool to use. And then I'm just showing you the pen. This will be lovely to sketch in or to write something. And then we're going over to the spray bottles. So the Inkredible inks are beautiful. They mix lovely together. I'll keep you up to date to let you know what I think of it and if I'll be getting some more colors and which tools are my favorite. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.